talking about The Strain, Season 4, Episode 9, The Traitor, tonight on The Tone Show, live. Well, it's recorded. SloanShow. Now, from the beginning of this episode, we knew it was going to be about a traitor, right? The title of the episode is The Traitor. And the whole episode, I'm like, who's the traitor? Who's the traitor? You know the traitor? Who's the traitor? Somebody tell me who the traitor is. And I'm like, first, they got Zach's ass. They got Zach, right? So is Zach the traitor? You know how gratifying it was to see Zach locked up in that little room? And F is actually looking at it like, I was like, F is going to blow this. Somebody take him away from him. He's going to blow this. But you can't blame him. Zach is his kid. At the end of the day, a parent's love trumps all, right? You saw how ice cold Quinlan was? Quinlan was outside the room like, are you going to let the boy interfere with our plans? He doesn't... Not the boy, like not your son, the boy. So the born gives no F's, y'all. Finally, it looks like F has figured out that Zach is not exactly his son. Well, he is his son, but he's not the same boy that. He is the same boy I had before. Zach is just annoying, y'all. What was up with that whisper talk? The whole episode was like, Dad, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. It was like he was on a yin yang twin track. Hey girl, my name is Zach. I blow up the note. What's up with that? He was just annoying the shit out of me, like, why you whisper talking, Zach? So anyway, Zach, he signaled the master. The whole episode, I'm like, you know what? Does the white that he consumes from the master, does it act like a tracing agent? I kept thinking. So his blood is gonna set off the feelers, those creepy kids that come get him. And that's what happened. So Zach turned out to be a traitor. But not really a traitor because Zach was never really on their side. I think the real traitor of this episode was Sanjay. We learned so much from watching Sanjay. It was so gratifying to see Sanjay in that room. We finally got his ass. And it was so interesting to see inside the mind of Sanjay. Because I wrote him off like a typical villain, a scumbag who just wanted to do whatever's good for himself. But there was a point when the Born and the professor, oh man, R.I.P. There was a point when F and the Born were having a conversation, and F was telling the Born maybe Zach has Stockholm syndrome, basically talking about that condition where someone who's kidnapped or been hostage starts to see the world through the viewpoint of their captor. But it was really interesting because at a point there, did you see when Fett sat down with Sanjay and Fett told him, okay, basically tell me a story, talk. And I'm not sure if you guys ever seen The Usual Suspects, but that seems so much like that scene from The Usual Suspects where the cop sits across the desk, the table, from Kaiser Sose, and Verbal can't. And he tells him, hey, tell me a story. And Verbal looks all around the room and he pieces together a story to tell him. And that's what it seemed like Sanjay did. When Fett sat down and told him, hey, I need you to tell me something, basically spill your beans, Sanjay came up with this crazy alternate universe that he actually mentioned idea in his head. So basically, he explained that everything that he's doing was for the betterment of society. And he used very clinical terms. I'm not sure if you guys noticed. He used the terms, it was my area of responsibility. Talking about a place where people are literally being sucked dry out of their blood, a slaughterhouse. My area of responsibility. Then he said that people who are homeless or people who are criminals or people who are surviving or people who are making a positive impact on society, that their contribution to New Horizons being sucked dry was actually good for society. And he also said that the situation that he was in, it was a compromise that wasn't ideal. All this language that Sanjay was using was very sanitized, and it just basically separated him from the monstrosities, the horrific things he was doing. And all the words he was using were very sanitized. He never said I killed anyone. He never said anyone was killed. Basically, he was making it seem like, hey, that infant baby went off to a better place. The guy's a monster. So at that point, I'm thinking, you know what? It's Stockholm Syndrome. He's convinced himself that what he's doing is for the best. But later on, we find out that Sanjay is the real traitor in this episode because he betrays the master by giving up the location of the Empire State Building, right? We think, wow, he really does care for his wife. And did you see Quinlan? Quinlan is ice cold at this moment. Quinlan does not care, y'all. I don't think he was really going to drain her, but he would if he had to. So basically, when Quinlan was going to make a snack out of Sanjay's wife, every time we see her, she's in a bad position. Remember when we saw her at dinner with Sanjay when Icor showed up and they were at that dinner as a reward for being good Strigoi henchmen? And Icor showed up and she was forced to sit there, and Icor's basically just sent out non-veiled threats towards her. in this situation, the team has actually captured her, which I thought was kind of different. I didn't expect the team to do that. I was kind of surprised that they stooped to that, but I didn't think they were gonna kill her. But anyway, they got Sanjay's wife, and he actually squealed. I said he was gonna squeal like the Joker said. He squealed. He squealed the location of the master. He's in the Empire State Building, right? Because the master's location was not worth the life of his wife. But then we found out later on. Let me stop for a second. Sanjay's wife is more concerned with the fact that he's been banging secretaries than the fact that he's a monster and that he runs a factory where people literally get drained of their blood, and that he takes literally babies and kills them. His wife is like, but you banged the secretary. I'm like, hello, the man's a monster. Can we address that first before we address his cheating? So Sanjay is an all-around traitor. He betrayed the master, and when the master showed up, he betrayed his wife. He didn't get not. At the end of the day, that whole story, that's what I was talking about, that he gave to Fett was just a story. Sanjay is a survivor. The man gave up his wife. He said she cheated. She actually told them where you were, master. It was her. So the master just snapped her neck. Did you see that? He just snapped her neck, and Sanjay was cool with it. He was like, I'm surviving. But the master just did that because he knew he was the one who spilled. He knew he was the one who spilled. And he ended up smashing Sanjay's head against the wall. And as satisfying as that was, because it was satisfying, when when Dutch punched Sanjay in the face a few times, that was satisfying. When freaking Quinlan walked in the room and dragged Sanjay out, that was satisfying. But seeing the master smash his head, I don't know. It feels like the master's running. He doesn't have any more pawns. Zach is next, right? So it was satisfying, but at the same point, I kind of wanted him to live longer because I never got it. Was he really didn't care about his wife? Was he really just a survivor? Did he really believe what he said before? The man is a man of 1,000 faces and 1,000 lies. So I feel like we kind of got robbed a little bit because I really wanted to see, is he just a survivor and that's it? Or is there more to Sanjay? So he was kind of interesting, but he was a traitor, and the master said, you know what? You're below scum, basically. You didn't even stand up for your own wife. Bam! Sanjay's gone. Peace, Sanjay. That opening shot with just Quinlan by himself, and before he left, the guy's like, "How you're not gonna make it out if you set off this explosive, Roman?" And he's like, "I do not plan to survive." He's so badass. I giggled when the guy was like, "Hardcore," because he's hardcore as hell. And later, after that opening shot with just him walking down the street, which looks so damn badass, and the guy's like, "That guy has some balls." And then freaking Dutch is like, Dutch has the best one-liners. He's like, actually, he doesn't have any balls. Did Dutch know that, or did Dutch know that? I was like, whoa. Dutch be having the best one-liners, y'all. And when they told him, hey, that building's gonna be crawling with munchers, right? It's gonna take you. How you gonna get through them? And he's like, it might take me a while. Basically, Quinlan doesn't give a damn, y'all. He's like, I'm going there. I'm gonna get this done. And when he got up there, I have no doubt that he's gonna dispatch all the Master's minions up there. And did you see Abby? Abby is peace for real. Like Abby is gone, y'all. Like she's finally done. She's done cleaning up there. She was the Master's last transmission, and Quinlan took her head off. Let's also talk about the fact that the whole episode, they kind of dangled the fact that somebody else could have been the traitor besides Sanjay and Zach. They kind of made it seem like Gus was the traitor. I thought Gus was going to rob Roman, take the nuke, take the gold, and the silver, right? So that whole episode, that whole scene, like the writers did a great job this episode because they kept me on my toes. I kept thinking, is F going to betray the team and try to take Zach and run away? Is Gus, like is he robbing Roman? Is he taking the nuke and he's going on his own mission? Like that whole time, the way they kind of dangled that over us very masterfully. I'm going to say this episode did a great job of keeping me on my toes the whole time. Up to the end, I wasn't really sure who the traitor was. So, one episode left, y'all. There's just one episode left of the strain. The next episode is the final episode. That will be everything right there. Is Zach finally going to be killed by F? Is F going to kill Zach? He couldn't do it in this episode. He had the gun to his head. He could not do it. I'm not surprised. I think somebody might steal that from him. We don't know. It seems very obvious that that's what's going to happen, though. I think that's what's going to happen. Is Quinlan finally going to find a final resting peace with the Master? When he kills the Master, he dies. It's like a modem and a router, and Quinlan is just running towards that. So is that going to happen? We're going to have to see. I think that's probably when it's going to happen, but I'd be surprised. It'd be great if Quinlan survives and he gets his own spinoff, right? Hey, is Fett going to survive? Is Dutch going to survive? Is Gus going to survive? Like, which one of our characters is gonna die? I don't think everybody's gonna make it. I think Roman is in trouble, y'all. I don't think Roman's gonna make it. So those are all the things that are up in the air. All the characters, anybody can go, y'all. They took out Icors, they took out Satrakian, Professor Satrakian. Everybody's on the table. Anybody can go in the next episode. So put it in the comments. Let me know what you think is gonna happen. What are your predictions? And what characters you think are gonna make it or not make it? My money is, yo, they better not kill Fat. I don't want him to kill Quinlan either, y'all, but if he's tied to the master, he gotta go, right? Man, he's badass. Anyway, this is the Tone Show. I had a great time watching this episode. There's one more episode left, like I said. It's subscribe and like time. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this episode. This is the Tone Show. As always, Tone Show out.